Blessed be everyone. Welcome to Mystery Witch School live stream on our YouTube channel here. Welcome to those watching the live. Welcome to those watching the replay. As I wait for YouTube to get the notifications out to people, I'll just talk a little bit about Mystery Witch School for those of you who are watching this video for the first time. And hello, Stephanie. I can see that you're there. And say hello in the chat too if you're already there. Mystery Witch School is basically a community of people online. I also have an academy as well of students, and we talk about all things Wicca, witchcraft, tarot, and shadow work. The whole purpose of Mystery Witch School is to try and bring, I guess, another angle to the talk out there about Wicca and witchcraft and various different ways of living life as a Wiccan or as a witch, and to bring a sense of purpose, that sense of connection to our true selves and to nature and to spirit into our lives on a daily basis. It's about practicing the craft and using it as a means to really, really bring in more self-awareness, more self-knowledge, and more happiness and joy in our lives. Sometimes witchcraft is just seen as something where you do a lot of spells and a lot of magic to make things happen in the outside world and to manipulate things outside of ourselves, which is fine. But there's much more that we can do with this. And when we learn that we are more than what we've been told we are, that we are magical beings, that we are spiritual beings having a earthly experience. And when we start to take into more of the mysticism of the occult world, we start to really learn who we are, what we are, and how we can make change in our lives on all different levels. So, not just on trying to get more love into our lives and bring more money in and have those things that are. We want for our happiness, but also to start to love ourselves and to connect to nature and our connection to all and everything, that we are all connected. And when we can experience that sense of oneness and that sense of unity, which a lot of mystics talk about in other spiritual traditions as well. So that's what Mystery Witch School is here to do. It's just to come in with that kind of an angle to the craft. And so we talk a lot about shadow work and inner work and trying to find our true selves and who we truly are, and to rewrite the programs that are stopping us from totally living as we came here to live and to be, which is to be happy and to be free and to create. We are creative beings and we're here to create. And today's topic on lucid dreaming is one of the ways that we learn about ourselves and one of the ways that we can learn how creative we are, that we are creative beings on levels and dimensions beyond what we can see, hear, touch, and taste in the so-called normal 3D world. And the adventure into lucid dreaming is a way of not just playing with our creativity, but also realizing that what we do in our dreams, we can also do in reality to a large extent. And that in our dreams, we can kind of use that as a bit of a practice and also to help us realize just what is going on up here in the psyche and how we create our reality in that sort of a sense of this world being like a simulation, similar to a simulation. I wouldn't say it is a simulation, but like a simulation. And that through magic, we can drive that simulation to become something that's more pleasurable and joyous for us. So if you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice too, but you've been trying to figure out where to start, but you just don't know how to navigate your way through all the different practices and energy work, what you really need is just a roadmap to let you know, okay, just start here. learn what you can here and then move on to this next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. You don't have to learn it all at once. I have a free masterclass. It's called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. I've just put it in the chat, and there's a link in the description field below this video too, that you can look at once it's published, to just have a look at how you can pace yourself along the way if you are trying to work out how to bring this into your life. Okay, so let's get into the lucid dreaming. My experiences with lucid dreaming is very much that it is like a simulation, like playing some of those older computer games, where if you stopped playing for some reason, the characters in the game would just stay there and they just move sort of kind of weird, like they'd have this slight little movement to them, and they were just waiting for you to get back on and to start to continue with the program again. And I don't play computer games now, so I don't know how good the graphics are, but back in the day, they were not that great. And so you used to have that experience of getting up and leaving, and everything would just be there, but there'd be a slight movement to whatever was on the screen, whether it was the monsters or whether it was your avatar. And I experienced lucid dreaming in a very, very similar way. Okay, hello, Lucy. Hello, the blue man. Hello, Rebecca. I already said hello, Stephanie. I don't know if you were actually on when I said hello. A glitch in the matrix. Yes, from Hollywood. Awesome, Rebecca. So that's how I kind of experience lucid dreaming. It is a bit like the Matrix. If you saw, you've no doubt have seen the movie The Matrix, because it's just so perfectly describes how things kind of are. And dreaming is very much like that. It's that simulation that we're actually creating most of the time. Most of our dreams we are creating. Our subconscious mind is creating. And we have the ability to be able to have a little bit more of a conscious control of that. So a lucid dream essentially is where you're dreaming and all of a sudden you become conscious that you're dreaming. So you're in the dream and then you're aware that you're dreaming. And you can then participate consciously in the dream to create the dream from a conscious intent. So it's different from a normal dream where we're just being swept away by the drama of the dream. And then we wake up in afterwards, and if you're used to remembering your dreams, you might want to write them down, or you remember them, and you might want to analyze them. It depends what you're doing with your dreams. But very much when we're in the dream state, we're not aware that we're dreaming. We're swept away with the drama, and we are totally there with the drama as if it is really, really happening. And that's very much a metaphor for life. One of the things that lucid dreams can teach us is, and one of the reasons why it's good to start practicing lucid dreaming, is that it teaches us what we're exactly the same in our so-called conscious life as well. We get swept away by the dramas of life, and we forget that we're conscious beings and that we can actually step away from our thoughts and our feelings and even our sensations and observe them as if we've just woken up to the fact that we are actually not our thoughts, not our feelings, or even our physical body, that there's a consciousness behind all of that that's observing all of these things. And so a lucid dream is where that happens in the dream. And that teaches us that while we can also wake up in the dream state when we're literally dreaming, we can also wake up in our normal conscious state too, to the fact that we're dreaming most of our life away. When we think we're awake, we're actually in a dream because we're not consciously aware of what we're thinking, what we're feeling, or what we're doing from minute to minute, hour to hour. And so part of the work of the sort of mystery schools and also mysticism and occultism is to become aware that we are not conscious, even when we think that we're conscious. Okay. Awesome. I dreamt this morning that my beloved and I were married and at a grocery store when a woman came up in a cart and the cart held a beautiful baby. Oh, beautiful. What a lovely dream. What a beautiful baby. Awesome. So it's giving birth to something new. You're creating something. You're creating something. Very, very beautiful there, Stephanie. Your dream is telling you you're creating something very beautiful. So, one of the advantages of lucid dreaming, apart from becoming aware that we're just as unconscious in our conscious lives as we are in our dream state, is that we get to explore things when we're dreaming that might be a little difficult for us to explore in our waking state. So, if you wake up in a dream and you realize you're dreaming, then you can start to be the director of the dream movie. So you could go to the places you want to go, be with the people you want to be with, do the things that you want to do in the dream state, and have an experience in that state that you may not be able to have in the present moment in your conscious, awake, so called awake state. So this is where you can get to try things on, try experiences that you haven't had before or that you'd like to have and that you want to explore. So that's one advantage of it. Another advantage of the lucid dreaming is that you can also come face to face with shadow characters. So I find that often what helps me become lucid in a dream is when I am actually faced with an adverse and it's some sort of adversary in the dream. And because I'm being faced with this adversary, often I'll become lucid in the dream. And my experience of that is that the what I call a shadow character, which is sort of going back to the whole Jungian idea of the shadow, is that the character that is in pursuit of me, what happens when I become lucid in the dream and know that I'm dreaming is that they do literally stop like one of those old computer characters, and they just stay there and they're waiting. It's like they're coming maybe with a club or something to bludgeon me, and then I realize I'm dreaming, and they'll just stay there with the club like this, and they just move like this, or they're waiting for me to give them an instruction. Everything stops, and it's up to your conscious mind what you want to do next in the dream. So I remember one dream, and I have probably spoken about this many times because it's the one that stands out to me the most because it was one of the early ones. And I actually was so excited that I was awake in my dream that I grabbed hold of the adversary shadow character in the dream. I hugged him and started dancing with him. And what was interesting about the character was that he was still in this sort of weird frozen state. Even as I was dancing with him, he did not react at all. It was like he was waiting for a cue from me to tell him to do something. But when you're meeting your shadow characters in a lucid dream, you realize that these shadow characters aren't real. They're not real. They are something that has been created by you in the past, and they're not real. They're not able to do anything of from their own side. They're not able to have any kind of autonomy or any kind of action from their own side. Have totally come from the subconscious mind. And so, one of the benefits of lucid dreaming is that you can meet these characters and they're no longer scary anymore. You could talk to them, you could hug them and dance with them like I did. You can totally turn those adversarial shadow qualities that are often personified by a person in a dream and actually make friends with them. I've had other experiences with shadow characters too, where I have become aware in a dream that I was dreaming and realized that the shadow character was actually exactly the same as the hero character in the same dream, that they were one and the same. They were like different poles, as in polarity, of the same thing. And that there was a really interesting sense of love between the two of them. So these are the kind of weird experiences you can have when you wake up in a dream to see that all of these are actually parts of your consciousness, and that there's something very beautiful in them because you've kind of created them. Even if they're adversarial, there's something in them that is of you, and there's something in them that is very, very beautiful. And it's almost like when you're in the dream and you can see that your subconscious is using the dream to convey to you uh, messages that it wants you to know about yourself and about circumstances and what's going on in your life, that it's kind of coming at you, even if it's a really scary dream. It's actually trying to do it from a place of love, and you can feel that in the dream when you have it. It's the experience in the dream of coming from that place of love, and I feel that from that experience, it's where you're connecting to your real divine source, who you truly are, your divine consciousness, because it's really coming from that place of love and learning. So that was probably one of the biggest experiences that I've had with lucid dreaming, that it's taught me that beyond our consciousness, there is something else there that is much more loving. And it's also feeling like it's not necessarily coming from other either, that it's also coming from something I'm a part of. So that's something I wanted to share about my experiences of lucid dreaming and some of the benefits of doing it. I've talked about the current state being like the dream state. And I wanted to talk more about that because in some schools of mysticism, that's the whole point of having lucid dreams in the first place, is to wake us up to the fact that we're not even awake when we're awake. And when we learn how to wake up in lucid dreams and control lucid dreams and direct the dream, we can actually then apply that to our conscious life when we're awake, and be able to take more of a conscious control. I don't really want to use the word control, but it's, you're trying to drive your life, and it's like you're taking the driver's seat then of your life by being able to become aware that we're always living life as if we're in a dream. I'm just going to go into the comments now, and just see if I've missed any. Okay. I will talk about how to develop the skills of lucid dreaming. Flying in the dream is awesome, especially if you're lucid when you're flying. My son lucid dreams and said he heard that if you tell others in your dream that they are dreaming, they try to kill you. He tried it twice and he was attacked both times by the people he told. That's interesting because I haven't had that experience. So that could be something coming from his subconscious too. The characters have just basically stalled whenever I've told them, because I was with that dream character that I was hugging and dancing with. I was actually jumping up and down, excited, and saying, "I'm lucid dreaming. I'm awake. I'm lucid dreaming." I used to fly like Peter Pan in my dreams. I used to also wake up from a dream and go back and have the same dream. Yeah. Able to start the dream where I'd stopped and finished the dream. Yep, you can do that with dreams. Another thing that you can do with dreams too, and this is kind of like a dream alchemy, where you're working with your dreams to help you change maybe thoughts and beliefs that are in your subconscious that you want to change because they're not working for you, is you can go into, not it's not so much going back into the dream and going back into the dream state, but you can use the dream, what you remember of the dream as your meditation, and go back into the dream and change how the dream worked out. So if the dream didn't have a very good ending, then you can go in and change the ending of the dream to what you would feel more happy with as the end result. And what that actually does, if you use that as a kind of a path working or a meditation, is it actually helps change your subconscious mind to work with the type of ending you want. And so the message that you're giving your subconscious mind is the message of changing something that it needs to change to make something more favorable for you. So you can work with your dreams from a psychological point of view too. And anything that we do from a deeper psychological point of view actually is spiritual work. I really believe that from my own experiences of doing a lot of inner work, is that just basic reprogramming our beliefs is a way of stepping more into who we are, and that is opening us out more to that sense of being connected on that spiritual level. So it is very much a spiritual practice to work on our psyche. Okay. Xena, trying to fight people who are trying to kill, yeah, like I'm fighting the world. Yeah, that's that's great, Xena. Had a dream the other night. I had to exorcise a spirit named Lisa who was trying to harm me, so I used my white light magic to keep her from harming me. Yep, you'll often find that if you practice magic, which probably most of you do, that you often do it in your dreams. I do it in my dreams too. I often do Hecate mantra in my dream. I'll draw pentagrams in my dreams. Whenever there's like an adversary or a force that feels not benign, like a malefic force, I will automatically in the dream go into doing some kind of banishing or a shielding of some sort. So that goes to show that you do a lot of work with magic, and that magic carries over into your dreams as well. So the more you practice, have a daily practice of uh, protection and clearing your own energy, or working with a deity, the more you're going to be able to just do that in a dream if you're feeling that you need to. Okay, most of my dreams happen when I'm awake. Most of our dreams happen when we're awake. When you think about the connection between lucid dreaming and consciousness, and that waking up in a dream and realizing that we're dreaming is the same thing as realizing that we're living our lives most of the time as if we are in a dream. I no longer remember my dreams or nightmares. You can get that back. You can get that back, and I'll talk about that. Every time I realized I'm lucid in a dream, it wakes me up. That does happen too, yeah. Especially at first, you'll either wake up completely or you'll go back to sleep, and you won't be able to hold it for very long. Sometimes when you're first starting lucid dreaming, you might only be able to be lucid for a few seconds, and then you go back into the dream state again, like totally unconscious again, or you wake up. Yes, that happens. I thought, "Wait, I'm dreaming," and I immediately woke. Yeah. If we do a ritual to evoke or invoke a manifested deity in a dream, would it be legitimate or more potent than doing it awake? You're better off doing it awake, really, because you'll be able to have more awareness if you are awake when you're doing it. Um, but it'd be interesting to see how they manifested in your dream. If you did do it in a dream state, if we practice ceremonial magic in a lucid dream, would it be more potent than doing it? I would say I don't really think it'd be more or less potent, to be honest, because you're doing it. You're doing it. Whether you're doing it in a lucid dream or whether you're doing it in waking reality, you're still doing it. You've got more protection, I think, and more control, though, if you are awake. I would be, um, unless you're incredibly strong and very aware and do a lot of lucid dreaming, I would probably not attempt to do that so much in the dream state. You'd be better off doing that in the waking state, because there's always the the risk of you going back into that totally unconscious state and not having that ability to control the situation, if you know what I mean. So how do you do it? How do you get into lucid dreaming? First of all, you need to be able to remember your dreams in the first place. So if you're struggling to remember your dreams, or if you used to remember your dreams but you don't remember them anymore, maybe have a think back to when you stopped remembering your dreams and just what was going on in your life at the time. Was it just that you were just getting so busy and so focused on the waking world that you ended up just not connecting to your dream state anymore? Or was there something else going on? But whether you've had dreams in the past that you've remembered and now you don't remember them anymore, or you've never remembered your dreams and maybe you even believe you don't dream, everyone does dream. And the way to remember your dreams is to practice remembering your dreams. So, and it actually happens quite fast once you start applying the technique to remember your dreams. Keep a notebook next to your bed, or if you want to speak your dreams, your phone device anyway. And as soon as you wake up, as soon as you feel yourself waking up, to either write down or to record what it is that you might remember. The night before you go to sleep, or just before you go to sleep, I mean, you might not be sleeping necessarily at night. Whenever you lay down to go to sleep, tell yourself, I'm going to remember my dreams. I'm going to remember a dream. And give yourself that affirmation that I will remember my dream when I wake up. Say it a few times as you're going to sleep. And it might not happen the first time, it might not happen the second time, but if you do it every time, every night before you go to sleep, I will remember my dream. I will remember a dream. You will find that you will start to remember snippets of a dream. So it might be one thing. You might remember, hey, I think I dreamt of a cat. Okay. And just try to remember the cat, if there was a cat in the dream. You might wake up with a feeling. So write down the feeling. So it might not be that you remember the actual drama of the dream, but you might remember the feeling. And the feeling's the most important part of the dream anyway. And just write that down. It could be one word, cat. I dreamt of a cat. Or I was somewhere. And just write that one thing down. Write how you feel in the morning as soon as you wake up and put the feeling down. And if you do that every day, you will start to remember more and more and more of the dream. And you're training your subconscious mind to recall and remember the dream. It's all about training your brain to do what it is that you want it to do. And in this case, because you're writing things down, so you're putting movement to you're actually taking action and putting movement to something, it's going to send a signal to your subconscious mind that you want to remember this. And so it's going to then set off the reticular activating system in your brain, and it's going to go, hey, they want to remember some of this. So then as you progress and persevere with this, you will remember more and more and more. You may also find that you have periods too where you dream more, or you remember your dreams more than other times in your life. You may find that there's periods of your life when you have more vivid dreams than other times in your life. That's pretty normal too. Often in times of stress, dreams can be very, very vivid, and often lucid dreaming can happen in times of stress even if you're not trying. But first, you have to remember the dreams and just go with the normal remembering of dreams first and get used to doing that. Get used to recording your dreams, get used to looking at your dreams. How did I feel in that dream? You can do a bit of dream alchemy if the dream didn't work out how you wanted it to work out, or if you woke up before the dream ended and you want to finish it because it was a really good dream, then you can do a meditation where you go back into the memory of the dream and you actually go through a meditation practice, like a guided meditation, but you're directing the ending of the dream and making it go where you want it to go. And that's also giving your brain a signal then that you want to have some kind of conscious control over your dreams, and you're connecting then to the idea of dreaming when you're doing dream alchemy too, which will help you with the lucid dreaming when you come to start lucid dreaming. So you're building a relationship with your dream world first and making it a part of your waking world by remembering the dreams, and then meditating on the dream and directing the dream where you would like it to go, where you would have liked it to end, what would you have liked to have changed in the dream, and then just going through what you remember of the dream and changing it and manipulating it in a meditative state. So you're playing with that world, you're playing with your imagination, playing with the subconscious mind. Okay, and then we'll get on to lucid dreaming. I'll just go through some comments. Uh, I think I've already done that. Astral projection. Okay, sometimes medication can affect dream recall. Wasn't remembering dreams very often, so started doing the affirmation, setting intention, and started writing them down, and pretty soon I remembered a lot more. Yeah. It actually starts working. You just gotta persevere with these things. Writing down meditation experiences, yes, that helps as well. So any kind of work that you might do, whether it's path working work or meditation, uh guided meditations, or you're doing some sort of visionary work like a journeying or something like that, write it down, because you'll start to get used to writing down the imagery and connecting to that part of your brain. Okay. Mugwort under your pillow helped as well. Yes, you can use herbs, certainly herbs or crystals using amethyst. Amethyst is good for dreaming. The darker the amethyst, the more vivid the dream, so just sort of play with it a bit. You might not wanna have a really strong amethyst, it might give you too vivid a dream. If you're doing a lot of lucid dreaming, or if your dreams are very, very vivid, often that can take a lot of energy away from you, and so you might not actually get a good night's sleep, because remember, dreaming is only part of sleep. We've also got to go through that delta wave period as well of sleep, which is where we renew and restore and heal our body. So it's not all about dreaming. Dreaming is only a part of it. We also need to go into that healing, restorative state as well. So you want to make sure that you get that every night when you're sleeping too, so your body can heal and restore. Yeah, astral projection is where you're projecting your consciousness out of you're not connected. It's like you're not connected to your physical body. You can turn around and look at your physical body lying there on the bed and then go where you need to go. Lucid dreaming can be a stepping stone to astral traveling. Yeah, whereas lucid dreaming is just being in the dream and knowing that you're in the dream. Uh, so yeah, and a lot of people have done both. Lucid dreaming is often taught first before astral projection is taught. And remote viewing is often taught too before astral projection is taught. So once you remember your dreams and you're getting pretty good at dream recall, then you can set your intention before you go to sleep at night that I'm going to become lucid in my dream. I'm going to know that I'm dreaming when I'm dreaming. And it's setting that intention again. You can use crystals such as amethyst. You could use herbs like mugwort as well for lucid dreaming. Uh, and give yourself that intention. There's a couple of different methods of knowing that you're lucid dreaming, and I've tried a couple of them, and I'll tell you which one works for me. One of the ways is to give yourself an object or something that you're going to see in the dream to stimulate your subconscious mind to wake you up in the dream. I It could be a part of your body, like you might, before you go to bed at night, you might imagine yourself looking at your hand in the dream state, and that is a signal when you see your hand then in the dream that you're dreaming. So you could focus on the hand as your signal as you're falling asleep. So you could say to yourself, when I see my hand in a dream, then am then I can realize I'm dreaming. I'll know that I am dreaming and I will be lucid in my dream. So it's giving yourself that intention of saying something. Or you might want to give yourself a sound or something as a cue, and you focus on that before you go to sleep, on that being the signal. And when that comes into your dream, your subconscious mind will give you that cue, and you will then be aware that, oh, I'm seeing my hand. Uh, I'm dreaming. Am I dreaming? And you know, if you're dreaming, you're probably in a different place to your bedroom, so you'll know that you're dreaming. The way that I found has worked for me better than that method, and is to just simply, before I go to sleep, go, I'm going to have a lucid dream tonight. I'm going to be lucid tonight. And remember, not remember, but I will be, I use the term lucid dream. I will have a lucid dream. I will know that I am dreaming in a dream tonight, and just give myself that intention. And that works better for me than giving myself a cue, like visualizing my hand before I go to sleep and then seeing the hand in a dream. That has worked for me in the past, but what happened when I did that was I would see the hand in the dream, but that's kind of all that happened. I didn't actually I didn't actually connect the hand to being lucid in the dream. Whereas having the intention of having a lucid dream, it seemed to just automatically do that for me. But everybody's different, and you're all going to have different ways of being able to get yourself lucid. But the intention is, and the practice beforehand of doing that dream alchemy and directing your dreams in a meditative state is all going to help and contribute to you then having that dream. And when you do have that lucid dream for the very first time, it's going to be very exciting. You're going to feel the excitement, and you're going to go, "Oh wow, I'm dreaming. I've actually done it. I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it." And then you might then go back into the dream state again. So you might have only been lucid for a few seconds, uh, but the more you do it, the longer you'll be able to hold the lucidity for. But it really is about persevering with it and not giving up. It's not. Some people find it's easier than other people. Again, some people are more skilled naturally at doing these things than other people. We've all got our skills. We've all got what we're good at and what we're not so good at. So it's a case of just knowing where you're at. And if you really want to do it, just persevering with it. You could have it as a goal every night before you go to sleep. You might find that you don't necessarily want to lucid dream every night. I would say it's good to sort of not do it every night, because it can actually it's not so much that it takes from your sleep, but it can it does take energy. So you might want to space it out a bit, but certainly practice it before you've had your lucid dreams. Every night before you go to bed, give yourself that intention. Don't worry if you have a lucid dream and it wakes you up. You go, I'm dreaming, and then you wake up. That's fine. That might also happen for those who may have experienced hypnopompic hallucinations or hypnagogic hallucinations, where you are that they're the tween times. So a hypnagogic hallucination is where you're falling asleep, so you're halfway between awake and asleep, and you might see something, like you might open your eyes and see a vision in your bedroom, or you might hear something. You might hear your name being called, or you might hear something that sounds very close, like a literally you hear it, but it's not there. You may feel that something's walking on you, like a cat walking on top of you at night, when you're transitioning between waking and sleep, or when you're transitioning from sleep to waking state. Some people have these naturally. I'm one of them. It runs in my family. I often have visions when I'm in that tween time state, and they're quite interesting. And also that feeling of having a cat walking on top of me when the cat's not actually there as well. They're all part of the whole dream experience, where you're still dreaming, but you're half awake. So that's different to a lucid dream. Okay, lucid dream is where you really are in the dream state. The ones where you're waking up out of a dream, or waking up out of sleep, but maybe having a opening your eyes and seeing things in your bedroom, are more that you're superimposing a dream onto your bedroom. And so what your eyes are picking up, your brain's interpreting, and it's putting into the dream because you're still kind of dreaming. Okay. So, can one practice healing our body while lucid dreaming? Yes, absolutely. Lucid dreaming could be great for healing, actually, particularly if you want to bring in any real experiences of, like tactile experiences of the healing energy, or being somewhere that you associate with healing. Certainly. Yes, practicing healing while lucid dreaming. You can do all sorts of all those things while you're lucid dreaming. Okay, when I astral projected, I used to go up through the ceiling, and then I would think of where I wanted to go and jump through the floor. Now I just pop out and ask to go to other places. Yes, we have loved to do one on astral projection, won't we? Do a live on astral projection. Okay, so that's pretty much it for lucid dreaming. It's not overly complicated. It's just a matter of persevering with your intention to do it. And then when you're in it, deciding, well, what am I going to do? You're going to find that you'll wake up already in a dream. So it's going to be a dream that you're having, and you're going to be aware that you're having the dream. So you could be anywhere with anyone doing anything when you become lucid for the first few times in a dream. And so then it's up to you. You'll be excited, and it's okay to be excited about it, because it isn't something most people do. And then you have to decide, well, okay, now I have this wonderful opportunity to do something here that I wouldn't normally get to do at home. What am I going to do? And that can sometimes put you back into the dream state again. It can wake you up, uh, or it can get you sometimes when you first start trying to lucid dream, where you're trying to achieve something in the lucid dream, but you find that there's a part of you that's still wanting to take you back into being unconscious again. And so sometimes it's almost like you're fighting the part of you that wants to take you back into the dreams, into being unconscious of the dream. Uh, and that can be a bit of a struggle at first. So don't be surprised at if you become lucid, you get a little bit more used to being lucid, and then you go to do something in the dream consciously, and you may start to be able to do it. And then you start to find that there's it gets more difficult to be able to have that autonomy, because the dream state or the unconscious state's trying to come back in again. So and then you'll become totally unconscious again and back in the dream again. And that's a metaphor for life. Uh, in our so-called conscious state, that happens. We become lucid. Sometimes we can become aware of our thoughts, become aware of our feelings, become aware that we're we've got this incessant internal dialogue that's just yap, 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 yap. And sometimes we can become aware. One of the first ways of learning to meditate, in a way that I teach in Mystery Witch School Academy, is to actually watch your thoughts and listen to your thoughts and just observe your thoughts. And when you take that position as observer of your thoughts, you're stepping out of the dream. So you're stepping out of the dream state in consciousness, and actually looking at what your thoughts are doing, not just saying, but how they flit from here, there, and everywhere. And that there's a dialogue almost between yourself, and it talks to itself, answers itself. And it's kind of fun to watch. And going back into that unconscious state in a dream after being lucid is a metaphor for life, because we can step aside, watch our thoughts, watch our behavior, observe it, and then we're back in it again, and we're totally unconscious of what we're doing, what we've said, what we're saying. We're just basically on autopilot and wondering why our lives often aren't going in the direction that we want to go in. So we can learn from lucid dreaming that we can create worlds in our dreams. We can also create worlds here in our conscious world, and to step back and out of the dream state that we're all in consciously and observe ourselves. And that's what the inner work and meditation and all of those things are about: observing ourselves and how we go from day to day. I came across a really good technique recently that I was never aware of before, as a fun way to observe your inner dialogue and to just observe how it carries on. And it's just a fun way of observing it. You could spend 5 minutes doing it, or try to come back to doing it more regularly so that you become more aware of the inner dialogue and how it it's just yap, 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 yap all the time. Is to imagine that it's a bit of a gestalt type of technique, where you imagine that that inner voice, that inner dialogue, is actually sitting next to you, and it's actually accompanying you as outside of yourself. And you just listen to it like you were listening to a person yap, 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 yap. And you'll soon be quite astounded as to how annoying your inner voice actually is, and how it just does not stop. And it's constantly having a dialogue with itself. So it could be sort of saying things like, "Oh, I think I would like to have, this for dinner, but, I'd have to go to the supermarket and I don't want to go to the supermarket. So maybe I could have something else for dinner," or something like that. And you just observe it as if you're watching a friend or somebody talking to you or being with you. And you just observe it and watch it, and just observe what's actually going on in here all of the time. And more you observe of yourself, the more you can quiet that voice down too, and have a little bit more peace in your life. Okay, let's say that being so efficient with the tarot symbolism helps with working and divining dreams. Is this true? Yes, if you're using the tarot for working out to interpret your dreams, yes, you could work with tarot symbolism for sure, because it's connecting to your subconscious mind. And when you're reading the tarot, you're connecting to your subconscious mind. And yeah, the tarot is another way of working with metaphor, the same way that dreams work with metaphor. Our subconscious mind is very symbolic. And when we're learning tarot, when we learn to read tarot as a story, which is what I teach in the Confident Tarot Reader course that I have. So for those of you who don't know, I have a tarot reader course called the Confident Tarot Reader. You can find out more about that. There's a link in the description field below this video. And I teach using, the knowledge that you get from knowing what the meanings are, the numerology and all of that, but also using the intuition to read the tarot. So you're using your subconscious mind to connect to the imagery and to the subconscious connection that the cards were making with either yourself, if you were the one shuffling them, or the person that you're reading for. And so that can really help bring in a really deeper meanings, or make reading the tarot that much easier. And if you're using the tarot to help decipher the meaning of a dream, that works really, really, really well. Okay, I prefer my dreams. Yes, so living in that world of dream. And with your dreams, if you become more lucid in your dreams, then you could bring that healing and do healing in your dreams there. Okay, speaking of symbolism, I see water all of the time in meditation and dreams. I know it could be something to do with emotions. Yes, water is about emotion. And in a dream, your waters are going to be your waters, your dream is going to give you water symbolism to help you understand where you are emotionally in a situation. So if you find you're underwater, then it could mean that there's an emotional situation either present or that you are feeling intuitively is coming, and that you're feeling like you are being drowned in the situation. If you're struggling underwater, if you're swimming quite happily underwater and you find that it's not a problem being under the water, then that means that you're handling the situation very well. So you're still in an emotional situation, but you're able to, be able to survive in it and navigate through it quite well. Tsunamis can mean that there's a lot of emotional stuff going on, and that you can then explore what that emotional stuff might be. Clear water means that you're seeing things with a lot more clarity now, that you're feeling like you've got more clarity. Dirty water could mean that you're just feeling like things aren't clear right now. So look at the different imagery with the water symbolism, because it really is about your emotions in when it comes to a dream. Okay. Okay, everyone. So thank you all for coming today to our live stream. I think that's really all I wanted to talk about with lucid dreaming. The hardest thing, I think, for in any way to do with this kind of work, whether it is magic, whether it's meditation, lucid dreaming, astral traveling, whatever, is perseverance. We just have to keep going and trying and doing and doing and doing and doing. We live in a world where we live in a fast food world. McDonald's drive-throughs, everything has to be instant downloads, all of those things. And so when we don't know how to work at something and persevere at something, and this is really bad, because when it comes to anything to do with higher knowledge and higher knowing, it takes time and perseverance and energy and application. And that's something that we have to always remind ourselves is this isn't, we might have McDonald's world in some ways in the material world, but when it comes to the inner world and our awareness and learning who we are, the know thyself part of it, that takes time and it does take application. So persevere with this and don't give up on it. Just keep persevering with it. Read about it, read more about it from different people's perspectives. Different things work for different people. Try different things that work for some people. You might find some work for you, some don't. Just apply it and just persevere. Patience and time. Yes, don't hold on too tightly for or have any expectations. Yes, Chris, that's right. Uh, yeah, don't be attached to an outcome. I think that's something we need to learn, to not be attached to the outcome of what it is that we're doing. Just be along for the ride and enjoy the journey, rather than we've got to have the answer. We've got to have the answer. We've got to have the answer. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, because life is a journey. Okay, when we're finished, we're dead. So we want to enjoy the journey, um, and not get to the finish line too fast. So blessed be everyone. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see we'll see you next week.